Does the recently signed rare earth minerals deal between the U.S. and Ukraine bring us any closer to a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine? And how may Iran be using nuclear talks with the U.S. to buy time from an attack from Israel? For more on this, we're joined by foreign affairs analyst Harley Lippman. Harley Lippman, thank you so much for joining us here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, the U.S. and Ukraine just signed a rare earths minerals deal yesterday. Trump said that the U.S. would walk away from peace negotiations if there's no sign of progress a couple weeks ago. Now we have a minerals deal and a 3-day ceasefire is on the horizon. Are we closer to a Russia-Ukraine peace deal as a result of this?
We are closer, but whether we get one is another big question. We're closer because, one, I think Putin has paid attention to Trump's being upset about Russia firing a missile into a Ukrainian town that had no military value and caused so much damage and so many civilian deaths. In this sense, Trump is really upset about this. This is a very good side of him. He doesn't want war. And the fact that we haven't seen any more attacks from Russia, I think, suggests that Putin and his advisors are mindful not to upset Trump any further. And the fact that Zelensky has come around from the American point of view to give America what it wants, a minerals deal, where from Trump's perspective, America is going to get the money back that it invested in Ukraine, which is about $100 billion. From Trump's point of view, this is good to go. So he's feeling good about Zelensky. He had a recent meeting with him just the other day. And so we are getting closer, but I think it's a long way to go before there's actually going to be an agreement, if there's going to be a peace deal.
And through this minerals deal, Ukraine hopes to receive more protection from the U.S., more assurance. And as for what the U.S. receives, here's White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller this morning.
We're a very mineral-rich country, but with respect to that deal, we'll move it and operationalize it as fast as we possibly can. But it's meant to pay back the United States. This is the key point. For the hundreds of billions of dollars that our taxpayers have spent subsidizing the war in Ukraine. So it is repayment to the United States. And that's one of the most important points to understand about it.
So, Harley, the U.S. sent roughly $120 billion to Ukraine in military aid since the start of the war about 3 years ago. Is this a fair deal?
That's in the eyes of the beholder. There's always to look at it. From the American point of view, we should get our money back. We've made this investment for Ukraine. What does America get for that? So it's a very transactional approach. This is the new theme of the Trump administration, is foreign policy by transaction. It's no more defending democracy or speaking out about human rights. It's what's in the national interest in a give and take trade deal approach. But going back to the deal with the minerals deal, but the real problem is that, as you pointed out, it requires the United States to guarantee the territorial integrity of Ukraine. And that's a sticking point for Russia, because Russia wants Ukraine. And even though the way it looks now, where Trump has given Russia basically what it wants, an off-the-record statement that Ukraine will never be part of NATO, and allowing Russia to keep what it has, which is 20% of Ukraine, you'd think that Russia would be satisfied with that. And they're not at all satisfied with it. So it really speaks to Putin's larger ambitions of taking on Ukraine and taking it over and having further expansion to try to get what he feels is his empire back.
And the U.S. and Iran are in direct talks now to come to an agreement to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. This is the first time that these talks have taken place in years. So what do you make of this under the President Trump's first 100 days as progress towards denuclearizing Iran?
Well, there's two ways of looking at this. The critical way says that Iran is using these talks to postpone Israel from attacking Iran. So the longer they talk with Trump, the more that Israel cannot make a preemptive strike against Iran, which is what a lot of people feel will happen. Also, the critical view of these talks is that Iran, unlike the United States and Western nations, does not look at this agreement, if they come to a nuclear arms agreement, as something to be honored in good faith. Iran looks at this as simply a way of gaining time so they can rebuild. They'll lie, they'll hide things. This is what they've shown us. Historically, they've done it, and they think they can outmaneuver President Trump or outlast him in office. So this is really not going to get us a verifiable deal that's going to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. It's just their ideology is going to drive it to the point where they're going to get one. But the people who feel that support President Trump are saying that his position is very clear. They're going to have to actually eliminate the entire nuclear infrastructure so Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb. And that's a very good thing, because if you allow them to have a nuclear bomb, you'll start an arms race in the Middle East. Already Saudi Arabia said they'll get one, and then Egypt and Qatar will get one, and then other nations will have one. And in that part of the world, someone will probably end up using one.
Harley Lippman, thank you very much for your insights here today, as always.
Thank you.